This is London calling in the overseas service of the British Broadcasting Corporation.
I have to tell you now that no such undertaking has been received, and that consequently this country is at war with Germany.
The pocket battleship, Draft Spee, which has been for many weeks preying upon the trade of the South Atlantic, and met her doom.
Mother dear, I'm writing you from somewhere in France, hoping this finds you well.
We shall fight in France. We shall fight on the seas and oceans. We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength in the air. We shall never surrender.
Hang up the washing on the sea free line, 'cause the washing day is here. Whether the weather may be where or fine, we'll just love along.
Das Oberkommando der Wehrmacht gibt bekannt. Ein im Atlantik operierender deutscher Flottenverband unter Führung des Flottenchefs Admiral Lütjen im Seegebiet um Island auf schwere englische Seestreitkräfte. Das Schlachtschiff Bismarck hat hierbei einen englischen Schlachtkreuzer, wahrscheinlich Hood, vernichtet.
The sinking of the Bismarck was due to the cooperation of the RAF with the Navy. And Rodney, which did some pretty work with her 16-inch guns.
Ah, this is not the end. It is not even the beginning of the end. But it is perhaps the end of the beginning. But the Japanese High Command had declared that a state of war existed with Great Britain and the United States.
The German Navy, so proudly built up by that smug strategical genius, the Führer, is slowly but surely being wiped out. Now the Scharnhorst, the 26,000-ton battleship, has gone to the bottom. A not unusual result of action against the Royal Navy.
Led by a powerful British escort, the main body of the surrendered Italian fleet is transferred from Malta to Alexandria.
Signed the act of unconditional surrender of all German land, sea, and air forces in Europe to the Allied Expeditionary Force.
Back across the China Sea for the last large-scale surrender at Hong Kong, where today warships of the Royal Navy ride at anchor in the harbor.
Well, hello and welcome. So today we're going to be taking a look over the patch notes. I've got to make sure I click on the right one. There we go. There we are on the screen. Hopefully you can hear me. I ought to double check actually, because I know that I've messed this up a couple of times in the past. Anyway, what we'll do is we'll go through the patch notes, but I'm just catching up with the chat there. And so Big Killer's asked a question regarding Florida. I think Criv's jumped onto it, but yeah, basically she's a reward ship that was given to returning players who obviously had not played the game for a while. It was a bit of a marketing scheme in order to try and get players back. Like Vaz is saying, it was the Floridor, the Flint. I think it was the Benham, not the Simsa. But yes, so hello everyone. Hello Big Killer. Hello Adam Criv. Hello Vaz Vegas. Hello David Knight. Jeff Dave. Gareth Major's wife. She's literally in the room behind me. And also thank you. Well, hello to Mecha Man as well. Morning to yourself. Let's see. Yes. Okay. So that's what we need to do. So we're gonna take a look at the trailer first. So we have the trailer already and waiting. I'll get that maximized. I'll take away the logos and my ugly mutt, and I'll activate the desktop, and hopefully the audio will be okay. So then we'll play this for you, and we'll pause it as we go through, see if there's anything of interest.
Captains, autumn is upon us. As the leaves start falling on the ground, a new batch of content arrives to our seas. Prepare to be amazed. Legends is all about famous ships, and it's time to welcome another. Musashi. One of the biggest and mightiest battleships ever built joins her sister ship Yamato in Legends. This Tier 8 Japanese juggernaut is ready to crush her foes with her 3x3 18-inch 406mm guns. With monsters.
So there's a marvelous little mistake here. So 18-inch 460, and the chap says 406.
18-inch 406mm guns with monstrous HP pool and robust torpedo protection, providing much needed support.
Now this is obviously, I think credit goes to Admiral Criv on this one, that the cruiser on the right here is Zhao, and the destroyer on the left here is Hayate, which obviously aren't ships in the game, so it kind of teases two future new ships forthcoming. It's just something that I've had to make a little bit of a note on, so I can get rid of those notes. But yeah, so it's quite interesting that there's a hint or a tease at future potential ships.
For her exceptional battery stats. More mighty battleships. It's never really enough, is it? Alternate German line is arriving in early access with 4 new ships, wielding marquee long-range secondary batteries and torpedoes. Branch-topping Tier 8 Prinz Ruprecht will arrive with the next update, as a mark of the branch being available for research. Autobots and Decepticons are back. This time with 6 reimagined gorgeous skins for legendary ships, including Gearing and Minotaur. What's more, every single piece of Transformers content from Commanders to camouflages previously released will be available.
Now there's something interesting here I noted. I think this is a Super Testers account because of the ST. I could be wrong. But I thought that was quite intriguing to spot that they kind of left that there. Obviously, most people don't usually have a visibility on what a Super Tester account looks like, and personally I don't know what they're like either. But if you are a Super Tester, you could give us maybe a hint if this does match up with, say, your accounts. You never know. But yeah, nothing else really too interesting there. I guess. So obviously, Transformers camos for Gearing, Gross Kurfürst, and Karabosk.
In the store again. Prepare to show off your skills. Ranked battles return for 3 seasons, including a milestone one, number 30. Both hardened veterans and newer players.
I have taken screenshots of these rewards, so we'll have a vague look. But obviously, you don't get much of an idea, but you can see it is going to be very short seasons of ranked.
Are welcome to participate and fight for prizes. 2 new projects are available in.
Measly Colbert's still around, but obviously we know that is disappearing at the end of this patch. So I guess it's kind of it's a habit. I guess it shows because it's still on the Super Testers account at this time, and then obviously Midway and Hakuru, I believe. But obviously we'll talk about those later on.
Bureau to boost the aerial might of your navies. Legendary carriers American Midway and Japanese Hakuryu are here to rule the skies and the seas. Follow the warrior's code, samurai. We have a tide to turn.
And there we go. That's the trailer. But I think that the big thing I really liked is YouTube has this new thing where it shows some of the comments. And I just love that this comment here, as excited as I am for more German ships, would be nice to have tier 8 ships for the countries that didn't get them the first time around, like the UK, France and Italy. And I think that is something that I completely agree with as well. Anyway, so as always, down in the description of this video will be, damn, I've closed it, will be the link to the patch notes, which I need to actually go grab myself because I've messed up, so give me a second. But also is the redeem code, which is hidden within the patch notes, should you want to claim it, along with a link to the redeemer. So let me just sort this out. There we go. Okay, thanks. Now I close the right one down, and I think we're all right. There we go. So I think we've had a couple of stragglers come join us. So I'd like to say hello to my name was Eternal and Kim Mike X Gaming. Good to see you. And I'm going to have a quick read through, but obviously what I'll try and do is cover things as we get to them. As I logged into my alternate account to check on something and if they had the rental offer, but it did. It didn't have the rental offer, but it did have a doubloon offer. Buy at least 5k per pack doubloons and get 5k free. Yeah, they really are looking for money, aren't they, at the moment? Legends is all about famous ships and paper Russian ships and collab monstrosities. Baz! Don't mention the truth. Okay, like German battle cruisers. Yeah, German battle cruisers. The Count's blurred name looks like Sailing Robin. Yeah, no, it does. Although the patch doesn't match, because usually he'd play with like a wargaming patch. Although maybe you could change the patch just for the purpose of it. Name was Eternal. Ever since I knew that Tier 8 was introduced, foresaw the Mishashi was going to be added, but didn't think it would be the patch after. Yeah, that's the thing. She's been introduced very quickly. Mega Man woke up this morning to a most wonderful sound of P51D Mustang and 286 Texans in formation. Very nice, very nice. Very nice. I thought we had both German battle cruisers already. Did they have more? No. The Flinger, obviously, it is a battle cruiser. And Mackinson is kind of like a battle cruiser design. But we'll talk about that when we get there. Prince Arthur Friedrich is... Prince Arthur Friedrich is a Mackinson as well, I think. I think we're alright. Big Killer, I'm sure the rest of the countries will get their tier 8s in the next patch after this update. Still no USS Enterprise to USS Johnston. Johnston, I'm surprised, yeah, honestly I'm surprised they haven't done Johnston yet. Enterprise, I think everything in time. Anyway, let's start going through the patch notes. And as we go along, if you are happy enough, feel free to give it this stream a thumbs up. And obviously you can read along with the link down in the description or get the redeem code. Now, obviously the patch is dropping on August the 29th between 7 AM to 10 AM UTC, so that'll be 0800 to 1100 hours BST. Update size varies depending on the console, the Xbox One having the largest at 3.5 gig and the PS4 having the smallest at 2.7 gig. Now there is obviously the wrap up, but we have just watched the trailer, so we'll just keep moving on, I guess you could say. So there's the redeem code, that is down in the description along with the link to the redeemer to make it all nice and easy for you to copy and paste if you have missed it already. Now German battleships, German battle cruisers, it's a bit of an argument, I guess you say. Now, one thing I have forgot is I forgot the jazz, so I'm going to get rid of the headphones. Let's get the jazz playing. Hopefully it's not too loud. Hopefully that's alright. But we'll keep an eye on the jazz, and obviously if there are any audio quality issues, please let me know and I can obviously adjust the jazz whether you want it louder or quieter. So, obviously, Tier 4 Deflinger, that was a German battle cruiser. She was at Jutland, I believe. Mackinson is a a battlecruiser design. I think the hull was laid down, so Mackinson almost should be what if it was completed. I think Prince Eitel Friedrich is a sister of Mackinson, but also comes with some slight alterations to the design, some slight modernizations. So that's where Prince Eitel Friedrich comes from. Zeiten and Prince Heinrich, I don't know anything about really, but what we do is we'll look at what the ships are like on PC, and we'll do a bit of look at what the pros and cons are there, and also we have had some limited information already commented on by Jazz. Is a bit loud. Okie dokie. Jazz down. Okay, Jazz is down to 20. Give me an idea. Jazz can be turned down a little bit. There we go. Okay. No worries. Thank you, gentlemen. Right. Yes. So we'll go through these. What do I want you to do? You can either look at this or you can look at that. Your choice. Go for this. Yeah. Let's go for that. That looks alright. And on the other tab, I'll go through the pros and cons of these ships. So, starting off with the Flinger. So, obviously, she's coming to Royal Warships Legends at Tier 4, where she's Tier 5 over on Royal Warships PC. Her pros over on the PC is that she has a good main battery reload speed. She has large cruiser dispersion formula instead of battleships, so potentially the dispersion is more better, maybe. Improved secondary range and penetration, and we have had a comment on that. So let me just pull that up on a number one. So the Flinger has a 5-kilometer secondary range over here on World Warships Legends. Over on PC, she also has a decent top speed of 26.5 knots, excellent concealed for a battleship, and that's PC Pacific, so I'm not going to go for that. Downsides, average health pool and weak armour, hence why she's a battlecruiser. Low main battery damage and penetration compared to other similar tier battleships. Short effective anti-aircraft range, so it makes sense, she's a World War I battlecruiser. Below average continuous enemy damage, very low amount of flak clouds, large turning circle and slow rudder shift, so she's very good in a straight line, not very good at moving, or manoeuvring, I should say. Also, it looks like over on PC, she's got a fast damage control party, so it basically reloads very quickly, but has a limited number, very similar to the Russians. I don't think that's happening over here on Legends, but you never know, so that's something to look out for. Moving on to the Mackinson, she's Tier 6 over on PC, she's Tier 5 over here. Pros and cons over on the PC. Pros, good main battery reload speed, so this seems maybe a bit of a thing with these. Again, large cruiser dispersion instead of battleship dispersion, improved secondary range and penetration, and it has been confirmed. Just the same. Fuse beard, let's have a look. How was that? I know what I've done there. I've left the desktop audio unmuted, so it should be fine now. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Jazz. Everyone's just saying jazz. Secretly, we all know you're just here for the jazz. Yeah, I've got a limited number of screens. Thankfully, I do have the Discord open for the moderators, so that has been a saving grace. Thank you, Criv. Alright, hopefully you're all still there enjoying less jazz. Right, where did I get to? Should we start again? Maybe we should start again. Because I assume that I've been too much jazz. Perfect. There, way better. There we go. Good evening, dude. Look, dude. Don't. Yeah. The problem is it's splitting the screen to have the chat and the information up can be a little bit of a pain. Hello, Sax. I'm not playing a carrier. Right, we'll go back to the Flinger. Yeah, we'll cover the Flinger again, and then we'll go through again. And I apologise. And if you're watching this back, then you're never going to know. Take 2, yeah, take 2. Here we go. The Flinger. So tier 5 over on PC, tier 4 over here. The no von der Tan or Seedlitz. Yeah, we're missing the lower tiers, which is a bit of a surprise. I'm surprised they started at 4. I would have thought they would have started at 3. Which would have meant we would have seen Seedlitz, I think. Would have been Seedlitz. I wonder if they just make Seedlitz a premium. I can imagine them doing that, actually. Let's see. Von der Tan would, yeah, they wouldn't want to do a tier 2. It would be, oh, it's Moltke over on PC. Seedlitz would have been interesting. I can imagine them doing that. I'm surprised they're leaving out the tier 3 from the line. Yeah, no, I agree with you, Chris. Alright, back to the Flinger. Yes, that is the Flinger. I am looking at the right one. Oh, there we go, yes, okay. So, the Flinger, pros and cons, let's get through this. Good main battery reload speed, large cruiser dispersion instead of battleship, improved secondary range. Over here on Legends, she's going to become over 5 kilometers secondary range, and she also has improved secondary penetration. Decent top speed of 26.5 knots, excellent concealment for a battleship, and over on PC she has a oh, cheerio, then was tunnel. Over on PC, the German battlecruisers have a like Russian style damage control party. I'm not sure if that's something that's going to be happening over here on Legends. Downsides: average health pool and weak armor, low main battery damage and penetration compared to other tier battleships over there on 5, over here on 4. Short effective anti-aircraft range and very poor anti-aircraft capability. Large turn circle and slow rudder, and again, like the downside of this Soviet style damage control party, I don't think it's mentioned. Carry torpedoes, sonar. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about damage control party, so maybe that's something they've dropped. Mackinson, which is tier 6 over on PC, tier 5 over here. Over on PC, her pros are obviously good main battery reload, uses large cruiser dispersion, improved secondary range and penetration. She has 150mm secondary, so she has got some 6-inch caliber secondaries. One of the fastest tier, one of the fastest battleships for a tier, lowest detection for a battleship for a tier, and then has hydroacoustic search. Now, downsides are average health pool, weak armor. Most of her AA defense is short range and doesn't do a lot of damage. Large turn circle and average rudder shift. One of the largest aircraft detectability range, and the 88mm secondaries are unable to directly damage most ships at her tier. So she does have some high caliber secondaries, but also some very low caliber secondaries. And over here on PC, this is where I've got to get rid of that. She's going to have a 5.5 kilometer secondary range. Moving on to the Prince Heinrich. Upsides are that she's going to have a quick turret traverse and a 360-degree rear turret, so that could be kind of interesting. She has 15-inch guns capable of overmatching up to 26mm of armor, accurate battlecruiser gun dispersion, unusually long-range torpedoes with excellent firing angles, so carries torpedoes. Also has hydroacoustic search with a very long range, and fast reloading damage control party apparently, although we're not sure about the damage control parties over here on World Warships Legends. Downside: small health pool, fin bow and stern armor, limited number of damage control parties, obviously I'm not sure if that will translate over. A terrible anti-aircraft capability and short-range main battery guns. Her secondary range will be 6 kilometers. Moving on to the Zeitan. Zeitan, over on PC, her upsides are she's well-protected bow, a 360-degree rear turret, and large cruiser dispersion, so could be slightly more accurate. Secondary range, well, secondary guns have improved dispersion value, so they're probably quite accurate secondaries. 12-kilometer torpedoes over on PC, so yeah, some very good range torpedoes. Very good hydro as well, and has a, well, I don't really want to call that a pro. Downsides: small health pool, relatively weak side armor, stern-focused main armament, slow torpedoes, and a long reload, lackluster anti-aircraft capability, and yeah, she's got a very large superstructure, which is basically means it can absorb. Well, it gets damaged a lot. So the nice one, I guess, on these two is that rear turret there and there does 360, so that's interesting. But yeah, mostly stern-heavy armaments. Last but not least, we have the Prince Rupert. My German's not what it used to be. Upsides: second best concealment, amazing secondary battery performance. Over here on Legends, both the Zyten and the Prince Rupert, I'm going to say, have 7.5 kilometers secondary range, so that's going to be interesting when maxed out. Carries 8 torpedoes per side with quite a long range, 12 kilometers apparently. High top speed of 32 knots, and obviously has hydroacoustic search. Downsides: lowest HP pool for her tier, poor main gun performance, and very low armor piercing penetration, and a low number of guns. She might have one less repair party than her well, classmates, I guess you could say. Weak anti-aircraft capability as well. So basically, it seems like one thing about this this new tech tree is they're going to get bullied hard by carriers. So if you're a carrier player and you see these new shiny battleships, yeah, feel free to bully them, I guess you could say. Well, that's everything. I don't think I've seen anything else in regards to these ships. The German BB secondaries have accuracy equivalent to Nevada/Oklahoma. So if you're looking for some comparison there. Okay, right. Let me. I've got to balance a lot of screens here. So yeah, we've already covered what they are, and then Musashi. We'll get to Musashi. Well, we'll be within Musashi very shortly. Now. New German, you can get the new ships from the German battleships, regular and big crates. So basically, they are going to be early access again. One important addition being the exclusive Tier 8 ship. So the Tier 8 is going to be locked until the next patch. So that's just something to bear in mind. The crates will be available from the 1st of September. So the crates aren't going to be available straight away. So the 29th, the 30th, and the 31st of August, he says. So yeah, the crates won't become available until Thursday the 1st, which is interesting. I don't know why they're holding off at the very start, whether there's something going on, whether it's just due to bank holidays, something like that. Major encouraging violence. Well, not encouraging violence, I'm just saying that if you're a carrier player, prioritise killing these first, because they've got no AA capability. Basically, the BCs are World War I, mid-war era, right? That's why the lack of AA. I don't know, because it makes sense with Deflinger and Mackinson to have lack in AA, but then again, Wargaming always does this thing where they modernise the ships with more anti-aircraft capability to kind of like reflect them in service later on, like World War II and so on. So, but they just not done it with this. I think it's just to make it a bit of a downfall for them. All the German BCs, all German BCs are mostly World War I era, yeah. But these are, because of this thing, like you look at the Bayern. The Bayern's got, although the Bayern's a World War I battleship, she's got a 1930s anti-aircraft upgrade, I think. So it's quite weird. They do this thing where they add these anti-aircraft upgrades to ships that never had them. But on the German battlecruisers line, they've added, it seems like they've added like barely any anti-aircraft capability. France, won't be any free crates or crates with the campaign, which means nobody but Wales will get these. Yeah, we're just... Yeah, so yeah, these ships are for whales. Right, Bushido Campaign, which obviously has the Musashi, the Tier 8 Japanese battleship with 18-inch guns, basically the Yamato's sister, at a tier lower. Now, obviously, in most senses, she is a Yamato. There are some slight differences. Those differences. Let me just pull up my. So Musashi's only going to get 2 heals, as per the Yamato. So she's not going to have a lot of repair parties, I guess you could say. What else do we know about the Musashi? We've got her Sigma. So Musashi's Sigma is 1.65, whereas Yamato's Sigma is 1.8. And the Yamato has US style dispersion. However, Musashi's going to have Japanese style dispersion. So if you know what, say, the Nagato's like, and the Amagi maybe, that's the kind of dispersion you can expect with this one. The real magazine was due to have 8.8 centimeter anti-aircraft guns. Yeah, if the magazine ever was finished. Magazine was laid down, but then got scrapped. The Flinger did exist, David. Tier 4 did. The Tier 5 was planned and almost completed. Yeah, there you go, Jeff. Very nice. Legend said they forgot and that they would give out codes for some free crates. Ooh. On Twitter. Oh, okay. That's interesting, Big Killer. Thank you. It does, honestly, it does feel this patch has been a little rushed. Or not so much time or care has been put into it. I think, I'm not sure why that is the case, but it definitely feels like it. I know that, say, on some of the alternative language patch notes, these weren't actually completed, and they have been kind of in flight during the day as they add more to them. I think the English language and possibly the Russian language, I think the English language is the most complete version of the patch notes at release. I rather take Japanese style dispersion, which means sometimes laser beams. You say sometimes shotguns are death. I'd say it's most likely shotguns are death. Anyway, so obviously she's locked behind damage backing on a 5-week campaign, 100 milestones. There is a catch-up mechanic available, which I think is quite interesting, because that means it gives everyone a chance to get it. Also heroic effort missions, so there's going to be additional kind of renown to earn in order to complete the campaigns, running from August 29th all the way to October the 3rd. Pardon me. As some of you have mentioned, there are no German early access crates here, so yeah, it's if they do redeem codes in order to give away free crates, then okay, that would be quite interesting. Otherwise, yeah, they've literally locked these early access battle cruisers behind a paywall, which just seems a little bit horrible. Anyway, here's all the rewards, and now some of the rewards that most people are usually interested in are the promotion orders. Yeah, Jazz is alright. And signal accommodation, but also the 8 days premium, I guess. The rest of it is the usual stuff. Without amateur backing, the total amount of rewards that you'll be getting is 18,195 doubloons. If you do decide to spend the 2,500 doubloons amateur backing, then obviously it does mean you'll get the Musashi, but also it does increase all those other rewards that you're usually interested in. Now, one thing I have been doing is obviously the Go Compare. So this gives you a nice idea of what the amount of rewards that you're getting with this campaign, the total amount of rewards that you could get with the campaign, what the difference is in total, and also what the percentage is. Now, as you can kind of see, the amount of stuff that you'll get without an amateur backing is above average, but it's in between the past 2 years. For the amount of rewards that you'll get with amateur backing is actually quite high in comparison to previous Augusts, and it is above average quite a bit. The difference is above average and is more than previous, and the percentage is obviously slightly higher. Now, one thing I haven't done well, I didn't take a screenshot of, but I'm going to open it up because I'm sure it might be of interest. So one thing my moderators kind of asked for last patch was to do a bit of a history or look back on the campaigns and see whether they are skimping out a bit. So we took a couple of benchmarks to track the amount of rewards that you get. Those benchmarks we took was booster flags, total number, insignias, commander XP, commendations, and days premium. So this is it here, and I'll get rid of all the stuff on screen. So as you can kind of see, obviously we have the Go Compare on the left here, which obviously is as far as records go. Let's zoom in a bit. There you go. So that's what you've just seen, and then this is the tracking of rewards in the past. So as you can see, the amount of booster flags that you get without anti-backing, it's generally stayed pretty consistent. Maybe it's a bit less as of recently in comparison, but there have been some low months in the past as well. Total number that you'll get with anti-backing, I'd say is on the low end. We have started to drop down. So I think one thing you'll notice, recently we've been receiving a lot less booster flags potentially. In regards to insignias, seem to stay quite constant. Obviously every now and then there's a bit of a bumper patch, like this one here and this one here, but that's really about it. So really, number of insignias that you'll get per patch has stayed relatively consistent over time. Amount of commander XP, it goes up and down, but what we're receiving is nothing unusual. And obviously, in regards to XP with anti-backing, it's very recently gone down, only by a little bit, but it's not. It doesn't stand out that odd, if you know what I mean. Commendations, again, we're not looking at anything too different as of recently. So it's been pretty consistent for a good while, and it's been pretty consistent before that as well. So I wouldn't say we're exactly getting conned out of that. In fact, it's probably been worse at some points in the past. In regards to days premium, the amount of days premium that you get, I think the nice one is to say that basically without anti-backing, you always get the same amount of days premium compared to if you had anti-backing. So basically, you don't, the days premium is never locked behind anti-backing. Is one thing I've noted. Only on the occasion where basically they do have, like, say, 7 days locked behind. That's been the only occasion. Every other time, I think here is another time where they had some days premium locked behind the anti-backing, but generally days premium, it stayed, I'd say, pretty consistent, and it's always for free, I guess you could say. You don't need to have anti-backing. So that's just some of the things that we've been able to do a bit of comparison for recently. It's just something that my moderators wanted me to keep track of, just to see, because obviously some people remember the odd patch every now and then. Mackinson existed and assisted with Prince Eichel Friedrich, and I think Prince Eichel Friedrich is a Mackinson upgrade, or upgraded Mackinson. Anyway, back to screen capture. But what we'll do is I'll bring these back. I need to actually go over, let's say, the pros and cons of the Musashi. So that's one thing that I have not done. Obviously, we have covered some of the other details of the Musashi, but her pros and cons, obviously. Let's see. So she has 18-inch guns and is capable of penetrating the bow armor of almost every ship in the game due to overmatch mechanics. She has best DPM for her tier potentially, very long-range main battery guns, long-range secondaries as well, whether that will translate over I'm not sure. Tight turning circle for a battleship. Very good torpedo protection, basically exactly the same as the Yamato, which would be a tier higher. Very large hit pool. She may even have more HP than the Yamato potentially. Very good armor, I guess you could say. Increased Well, that doesn't really matter. Might have a better rudder shift than Yamato as well. That could be quite interesting. Yeah, Paolo. Yeah, if he's not watching it live, then I have turned the music down. That is my bad. Don't go back and watch the start. I do apologise for that. It's because I left the desktop unmuted and I didn't really twig, because I was expecting the music to come through the microphone and not straight into the stream. Downsides of the Musashi: painfully slow turret traverse, 2.5 degrees per second, very weak anti-aircraft capability, and you can kind of see that. There's no machine guns. Like when you look at Yamato, she's got machine guns packed on absolutely everywhere. Musashi, none whatsoever. So she's going to be carrier food as well. She might even have, potentially looks like ships down at battleships at tier 4 will have better anti-aircraft capability than the Musashi up at tier 8, which could be quite interesting. It looks like she's slow, large turning circles, slow rudder shift, low top speed, lots of flat sides to get punched through, and worse dispersion than Yamato and worse Sigma. So she's got worse Sigma and worse dispersion. So that's something to watch out for. Hopefully, Pablo's got to where the jazz is all turned down. Anyway, so Musashi, I don't think she's the kind of campaign ship that I'd look forward to. In all honesty, she does look. It'd be interesting to see what she's actually like. But yeah, it'd be a bit of a wait and see. Yeah, the campaign doesn't look too bad. Transformers returns. There's not a lot of information here actually, but Transformers robots are back, this time with very solid reinforcements in the form of legendary tier skins, and one more for the Republic as well. More good news. Basically all the previous items will be back as well, available from September the 1st through the update until October the 3rd. That includes the commanders, skins, and containers. The air defense of the Musashi is based on a 1942 configuration. Yeah. Whereas I think Yamato's is like end of war. Musashi and Izumo's deck looks completely empty. You can play a football game on it without interruption. Yeah, that's very true. Musashi is a Eisenhower's territory of AA and spread. I'd say it's worse. I think you're looking at like down at Koenig in comparison. So yeah, we got some legendary tier ships. I think Minotaur we saw. Yeah, Republic. Which one's Republic? I can't remember. That's Republic. Yeah. Gearing. I can't. It did tease them. I'm surprised I didn't list them here, but I'm not really too fussed about this collaboration. I know some of you guys might be more interested in it, but yeah, I could pass on it in all honesty. Now we do have legendary tier carriers now coming in. I think this is going to be a bit interesting. There's a couple of things here which maybe we should cover as well. So as of this patch, matchmaking for tier 7s will return to normal. So tier 7s will only be matched plus or minus one tier. So either they go into 6 and 7 games or 7 and 8 games. Tier 8s will then be 8 and 7s or 8 and legendary. The legendary tier will be legendary and 8. Now carriers are always matched in games against other carriers. And carriers are pretty much guaranteed to always end up being matched against a carrier of the same tier. So by introducing these carriers to the Bureau means that the very first few people who get a legendary tier carrier could potentially be sat in matchmaking for a very long time until someone else decides they're going to play a legendary tier carrier. So initially, when the population is very, very low, these are going to be really painful to play, and you're going to be playing against the same people quite often. So that is something that you need to bear in mind. Now, these two bureau projects, they do introduce something else, which partly I agree with, partly I don't. The first one is they have to be obtained through the store for credits or doubloons. I think for credits is fine. I like the idea of that, because that means that a player has to have played the game enough to earn enough credits to therefore actually then purchase the bureau project and then start progressing it. And the amount of credits is 30 million credits, which I think is a fair amount. So that I don't mind. But for doubloons, for monetizing it, for God's sake, stop it. Stop monetizing this game so much. Like, okay, it's only for this one patch, and it's 5,000 doubloons, but come on, do you have to monetize everything? It's almost like there's one member of staff who sits in the room and keeps going, monetize it, monetize it. Ah, yes. Narco, I look into not AA focused Ganais now with full AA builds on Musashi. By the way, don't forget, folks, Legends, we can make more out of our AA due to inspirations and different command systems. That's true, that's true. But I think if like Musashi's base AA is the same as the Konig. I guess if you do fully upgrade to AA capability, you might be able to squeak it up to maybe comparable to the Ganais now, but you're not. I think it's still going to be pretty bad. It's a bit like the way that, say, the Tiger has a really great AA rating, but barely any guns. Mega Man, I am so excited to see legendary tier carriers arriving. Baz, legendary carriers arriving in 2024. Thanks to the Bureau, I guess you put it. Randy, Wargaming Accountant, has a strong pimp hand. Also, matchmaking is focused to put legendary CVs against each other, so not even a failed division will work. True. That's Crib, so yeah. So even a failed division, even if you fail division a tier 7 carrier or a tier 8 ship, you still won't get matched against the legendary tier carrier. So legendary tier carriers, the first couple of people are going to be sat there waiting for matchmaking to happen. Anyway, there is a little bit about the ships here, but there's not a lot. So in regards to information, we have like Midway has lots of HP, and her torpedoes have like long range, which is quite interesting. And then Haiku has basically short squadron restoration times, and I think that's basically all they say. But thankfully, we do have all the Warships PC, so we can go take a look at the information over there, pros and cons, and then we can translate that over and see if any of that, well, mostly should transfer over. So, there we go. The pros on the Midway. Obviously, decent health pool, allowing better survivability. All planes deliver very powerful strikes and very high damage per attack run. All aircraft are highly effective against all ships, which could be interesting. Obviously, no, I don't think we're going to be getting rockets, so I can skip that information. Torpedo bombers drop 6 torpedoes per attack over on PC. I doubt that'll happen over here on Legends, but you never know. She has a very strong AA capability, as to be expected by an American aircraft carrier, I guess you could say. Decent durability on the aircraft carrier, deck armor, HP pool is quite good. High speed ship as well, 33 knots, so she can reposition quite easily. Downsides there, obviously, massive target, she's big, with poor concealment, a slow rudder shift and large turn circle. Her aircraft are quite slow, it would appear. And the torpedoes have a very long arming time and are not very accurate. So obviously, it looks like maybe the torpedoes are long range, but have a long arming time as well. And the torpedoes individually are quite weak. So obviously that's why it's more about quantity rather than quality with those torpedoes. And that's everything. I'm not going to comment on the rockets. When it comes to the Hakaru, I believe. Upsides. That's opinion, I'm not going to say that. Fast aircraft speed, yeah, we know that. Solid speed and health to AA damage ratio. So basically, yeah, they kind of get in. They might be slightly more fragile, but they're going to be in and out very quickly. Over on PC, she has AP bombs. I doubt that will happen over here on Legends, though. She also has a very large... She has a large hangar, but basically over here she's got very short aircraft restoration time, so her chance of her being deplaned is going to be quite low. Can't defend herself, potentially. Looks like she's got an exposed citadel as well. But yeah, there's not too much information about this ship in regards to pros and cons over on PC, I should say. So it's interesting. We'll have to see what she's like. Wargaming just had no idea how to implement new stuff. Bureau is not good if you would need new ships faster in your matchmaking system. Yeah. Basically, this is the thing. Obviously, we saw some of it behind the scenes, but also saw some of it on public Discord. It's almost like Wargaming just didn't think it through, because when people kind of raised the question, it was be like, we'll get back to you. So they had to go off and ask the question, like, what's going to happen with matchmaking? And then, yeah, that's when they found out. So yeah, matchmaking at the start is going to be less than ideal. No, legendary tier. Going to be DD hell again for 2 to 6 months. Potentially. Alright, ranked. We do, obviously, I have actually got this in regards to ranked. We're starting in 29. So, yeah, we do have 3 seasons of ranked happening. As you can see, ranked season 29 starts on September the 1st. And there should be a further blog post which covers ranked coming up. But basically, there's 3 seasons. Each season is only about 5 days long, I guess you could say. But more than likely, it's going to start on the 1st of September at 0700 UTC and end on 5th of September at 0700 UTC. So it's more like only like 4 full days, really. It's 4v4, no carriers, only 1 destroyer per team. And the prizes are, as you can kind of see on screen now. But that's all they've given away in regards to information. So we're going to look at the prizes, I guess you say. So yeah, finally players are going to be able to earn steel for the first time in the past 3 patches, I guess you could say. And the prizes between the seasons don't really change that much. Although, judging by the way the amount of prizes go down at the end, I don't know. Does that mean, do you think it might go up in tiers of ships? It could potentially. Obviously, we don't know what tier ships we're going to be looking at. There's only 7 ranks, so it looks like people will be able to go through it quite easily. There's no indication on whether there's any like kind of milestone ranks where you can't go back again. Yeah, so there's not too much information about ranked. I'm saying full 4-man division would be interesting. Well, it would be good if they just cracked on with clans and quite a lot of other things that the players base is constantly streaming out on. Narco, I sit on 20 million steel. I'm ready for your legendary CV. I think I'm sitting on 250 million credits, but I'm waiting for the tier 8 British at the moment. Baz, prizes, nothing special yet again. Yeah, very true, very true. The question is, Wargaming needs to make money since they're a free game, but they overprice most things for a little bit of gain. Yeah. And also, they seem... Okay, the only way they survive is by monetizing the game. Yes. But it's how much monetizing they do. It kind of just... It feels like you can't turn a corner in World Warships Legends without finding something monetized. I think it's a bit like the recent auction. If you're working out, I think the minimum amount of money that Wargaming made from the auction that just happened would be about £75,000. I think it's nearly in the region of about 100,000 United States dollars. Obviously, they don't see all of it. I'm sure that Sony takes a cut and Microsoft takes a cut and things like that. But it's a bit of a question, like, how much money do they really need to keep Legends going? Because if they're making £50,000 in a patch, and they got 12 patches a year. Admittedly, £50,000 probably pays for, say, one developer's wages, maybe, plus office and IT support and things like that. But it does make. I think it's about. But the thing is, I think when you monetize something, it has to be worth it for the player base. True, the World of Tanks gives out free tanks in each battle pass, as well as events constantly that grant keys and cards to open crates to free gold. Yeah, no, that's fair. They already made their next 5-year profits for the auction. Ran Chang, what are the inoffensive, incorrect means of monetization free to play? Is an interesting question. Won't people just find a way to whinge about any sort of pricing? At the end of the day, I guess it's down to the player base to work out what's worth what. How much is something worth to them? Which obviously, okay, at some point we'll go in, gets put on Sony PlayStation for overpricing, yeah. Because there's the thing, like, you have the campaign side of it, and the campaign, I'm going to do a bit of dirty math at the moment. Let's say, we do this. So every campaign has 2,500 doubloons entry fee, and assume that everyone pays for it, the bare minimum, right? So let's take the player base. Let's say the player base is 50,000 people, and everyone pays a 2,500 doubloon entry fee for that campaign. And then how many patches do we get a year? It should be quite simple. And we get 10 patches a year. So yeah, wait, no. Divide by. Let's just clear that. I've messed it up. Right, 50,000 people. 2,500 doubloon entry fee, 10 patches a year, and then how much is a bundle of doubloons at 2,500? Let's just do some dirty math. So let's just bring up the PSN store. It might take too long. Meanwhile, I better nip back into the chat. 11 a year. We'll call it 10. We'll go for the underside if we can. Say World of Warships. Let's see. The 2,750 doubloon bundle pack is $7.39. So divide that amount of doubloons by 2,750. And then multiply that by £7.39. So that's £3,359,090 and let's say 91 pence. So potentially you could say that if everyone in the player base said, yep, every campaign's worthwhile, I'm going to pay that very small entry fee into that campaign, and there's 10 campaigns a year. World Warships Legends makes £3,300,000, and so the question is, like, and on top of this, you've got premium ships, auctions, the bureau, and a lot of other things. So but there you go. And there's a nice idea. And I think sometimes I know it maybe is a bit cheeky of me, but every now and then I do like to sit back and run the numbers and think, like, my God, how much do they make? And as Crib says, that's only average backing. $10, £7, the same as every company on the planet. Greed. Imagine if the album went for 40k each and not 20k. That's already double amount. Yeah, that's a lot. I'd be very surprised if the same lawsuit goes anywhere. That's fair. They're doing fine at the moment. They made $1.1 billion in profits last year. We're getting well off track. We're getting well off track. Right. Right, on to back to the patch notes. Now we've discussed Wargaming's finances. Basically, World of Warships Legends is now going mobile. So basically, the beta version of World of Warships Legends mobile is kind of coming to an end. I think it might have already come to the end, or it's been withdrawn from the store. And basically, on September 5th, Legends will now become fully available on mobile devices in Canada and the Philippines. So it seems like a limited launch potentially. And basic accessing the game will allow you to use almost the entire list of features that the console provides, except a few, most importantly carriers. So you still can't play carriers on the mobile version. With matchmaking being fully cross-play, we'll announce more details down the line in the special blog post. So that could be something to look forward to. A question regarding the total amount of profit they made. That includes World of Warships PC and World of Tanks. Yeah. No one cares for Mobile Legends. Yeah, I know. Right, Majestic Days. This is the Ashen Core. We'll cover the Ashen Core a bit later on. But basically, this is an introduction of a ship. Obviously, obviously there's monetization here. Of course, there's monetization here. But yeah, basically, it's basically 3 weeks of assignments. Sounds pretty straightforward. Log in each day, starting September the 12th. So for the following 3 weeks. And anything you miss can be retrieved for small sums of doubloons. I think it's 250 doubloons. So, of course, they monetize it, of course. But yeah, if you miss a day, you can spend 250 doubloons to purchase the ship. So that means they're valuing this ship. Oh, here comes the calculator again. 7 times 3. Times by 250, so they're valuing it at 2,550. So obviously, if you don't get the Ashen Core through this method, I suspect she'll probably become available for. I think the going price is 6,250 for a tier 4. She's tier 3 though, isn't she? I mean, it might be the going price, but yeah. So potentially, I guess you could. I don't think you can boost it though. I think it's locked. Now, the ultimate prize we're waiting for you at the end of week 3 is the Ashen Core, and then we'll move on to the Ashen Core after that. Randy, slowly descending into a utility of capitalism stream. And the Hot Wheels collaboration. Hot Wheels collaboration got postponed until future notice, so basically it got cancelled, I guess you could say. It might come back in the future, but obviously it was planned just as Russia started its special military operation war in Ukraine. Let's not dance around the bush. But yeah, that's basically what happened. So with Wargaming being associated as a Russian company, as soon as Russia invaded Ukraine, the Hot Wheels collab went. We might step away from this. It might come back in the future, being that Wargaming has obviously taken actions to reduce their Russian profile, I guess you could say. Yeah, we've got Racing Legends instead, yeah. What we're going to say there, how far can we monetize and milk those idiot console players? Now here's another interesting thing. Basically they admit that the Wichita, the tier 7 campaign reward from a good while back, is overpowered. But they want to bring it back. So what they're doing is anyone who's got the Wichita from that campaign, right, is now going to have their ship updated to the collector edition version. So basically it's just going to have C on the end. And this is so they can bring the Wichita back at tier 7 for, you wouldn't believe it, doubloons. 17,500 doubloons. Oh boy. Is it 17,500 or is it more? Oh, I don't want to know. I think it is 17,500. So yes. I think we've mentioned monetization a bit too much, but yeah, it's ironic now that they've introduced tier 8 that they can now sell tier 7s, that they're in a bit of a rush to bring back some popular tier 7 ships that people have been asking for in order to monetize them. What a surprise, I guess. Damn, if I end up being removed from the CC program, it'd be quite amusing, but we'll see. Yeah, so The Witcher 2 is now going to be available. Actually, I think she's Global XP, isn't she? I think she's Global XP. Come to the store on August the 29th. Oh, I think she's actually coming for doubloons. Is she doubloons? Mods, feel free to shout out. I have a hunch she's coming for doubloons. I thought she might be a GXP, but I suspect it's doubloons then. No doubloons. Which tour is doubloon? Only Kutsov is Global XP. Oh, of course, yeah. So Witcher, the one that a lot of people probably want to get, is doubloons. Okay, typical. Other ships that might go down this route is the Summers and the Mains. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna see why. So yeah, so the old Witcher is gonna basically be never gonna come back ever again. We're having a new Witcher. The old Witcher's being renamed, and then basically so they don't want to nerf it. So what they're doing is they're renaming it. Is the best way to put it. And so they're reducing the HE showers, the AP shower damage, the ricochet angle, the AP fuse time, the AP penetration has been increased, and the main battery shower grouping has been decreased. Honestly, like, those changes are so negligible. Why are you going through all this effort of renaming an existing ship and introducing a new ship with these slightly different stats? Why not just say, you know what, let's just update the premium ship? I mean, I'm sure the player base can accept that, you know, Witch has been out for a long time, right? And everyone knows she's quite strong, and these tweaks are quite minor. Well, then again, the player base don't like that when the premium ship gets touched as well. So, but then what they're doing is they're introducing another premium ship with these ever so slightly tweaked stats. And then what if it turns out they got this one wrong? What are they going to do then? Take it? And then again, it's going to be in the store indefinitely. So I guess it is what it is. But well, because Wargaming is afraid that Wish 2 players raise their voice. At the end of the day, Wargaming own these ships, not us. Wargaming's within their rights to do these changes. It just seems a bit pointless. This is the thing. I'd rather than tweak it, but that's just my opinion. I know a lot of people probably not like it. Running around the pay to win elements are certainly piling up a bit. The shell grouping 10% sounds significant. Yeah, potentially. I think that's probably the most significant one. It's interesting the AP penetration goes up. And the AP fuse time's been increased. The damages are minor. These two are interesting. That's negligible-ish. That one could be significant. The pen angles is the biggest slap to the new Witcher. Okay. They advertise their games as free to play and have been very vocal about not making them pay to win. Yet around every corner they throw pay to win stuff at us. Agincourt. Right, we can actually cover Agincourt. She does look quite nice. There you go. Let's do the pros and cons over on PC. So she's actually quite a recent ship over on PC in comparison. She's got 14 main battery guns, which obviously gives her a very large broadside capability. Improved high explosive penetration and a good fire chance. Heavy secondary armament as well, with a high rate of fire and fire chance and good accuracy. Good secondary range as well. So I think I've seen her with a lot of broader builds over on PC. Disputed armor profile makes Agincourt very durable when properly angled, and also has great concealment with relevant upgrades. Downsides are second worst rate of fire for its tier, obviously due to the amount of guns. Poor AP shell penetration, poor dispersion in Sigma, though the huge broadside somewhat mitigates it. Very sluggish acceleration deceleration, as well as poor speed. No AA defense. Agincourt is completely helpless against planes. So that's some things to note. She does look very pretty though, I'm going to be quite honest. And there's a little bit of info here, but she's got 12-inch guns, which is probably the main thing. Joint best secondary gun range at a tier, 5-kilometer range. That's quite interesting. That's very interesting. I'm definitely going to be putting a Madden secondary build on this. That could be cool. Be rather intriguing. Now Plymouth. I think Plymouth seems a bit odd, because honestly, I think a lot of people expect a legendary tier or at tier 8 at least. They've crammed her into tier 7. Which seems very off, I guess you could say. So it does make you wonder what they're going to do to this poor thing in order to squeeze her in at tier 7. Now over on PC, she has excellent consumable suite. Over there she has repair party, sonar, smoke, and radar as well. Also great concealment, great maneuverability. She has 16 main battery guns and 8 torpedoes. So obviously she's got 4 quadruple gun turrets, and she has 2 quadruple tube launchers, one either side. She has over on PC, she has a better armor scheme than her contemporary at the tier, which is Minotaur. She specializes in AP shells, the Royal Navy light cruiser Tech Tree. She's strong main battery layout, allowing 8 guns brought to bear when bow stern in as well. So there's quite a lot of guns. Downsides are she's got standard repair parties rather than enhanced repair parties for her tier over on PC. She has light armor, slow reload time for a light cruiser, slightly below average health pool, only 4 torpedoes per side, unable to load HE, so she's stuck with AP, poor main battery range and fire angles, and weak anti-aircraft suite, I guess you could say. Now, what are they going to do to this ship to squeeze her down from being the contemporary to the Minotaur to being contemporary to the Edinburgh? They've basically down-tiered her by 2. Narco, regarding the Plymouth, Plymouth is the as-intended design for the town class light cruisers. The Royal Navy really wanted to try and make a quadruple gun 6-inch gun turret. The problem was World War II kind of broke out, and therefore they couldn't quite get a quadruple gun turret to work. So they ended up just going with triples. I think one of the issues they had with the existing town class, the Edinburgh and the Belfast, was that the turret ring wasn't big enough for the quadruple gun turrets. So I think Plymouth is a representation of what if the Royal Navy, after building Edinburgh and Belfast, continued down this route of the large light cruiser and got what they wanted in the next design with the quadruple gun turrets, and allowed themselves to have that extra displacement rather than going for the kind of economy build like cruiser after, which was the Crown Colony class. Because obviously, after building Belfast and Edinburgh, in order to start building more cruisers more quickly, because they kind of knew a war was coming, they started building the Fiji, things like the Fiji, which is the tier 6. But if, say, they had a bit more breathing space, they knew that war was not going to come for another 10, well, another 5 years, say, then I think they might have looked into trying to build a bigger Belfast, basically. And this is what we're looking at here, is a bigger Belfast. But yeah, there you go. Belfast 4 Edinburgh reload for 12 guns is around 7 seconds. So Plymouth base, potentially, yeah, she might end up having a slower reload. I'm with only one module slot on the Agincourt rather than 4. They do hold the rights, but they don't like doing it because obviously people stamp their feet. Obviously, the tier 2 ship was a mess up on their behalf. But also they have nerfed the. Was it the Genevi? Yeah, they nerfed the Genevi way back when during the beta testing and stuff. They don't like doing it, and so they do other things. So, like, they nerfed all DDs by updating the commander's capabilities, I guess you could say. I think, honestly, in some part, I think if it's minor tweaks, I'd rather them just do the minor tweaks rather than release an entire new ship. But if they're major tweaks, then I can kind of appreciate why they need to do a new ship. But honestly, like, with the Wichita at tier 7, why not just do a tier 8 version of the Wichita? Rather than nerf it, why not do what they did with the Weimar? Rather than say nerf the Wichita, why not buff the Wichita and move it to tier 8? I think because that could have been the way they could have resolved that one potentially. Because I wouldn't be too bad too. I wouldn't mind that too much either. Anyway, yeah, 16 AP guns, 2 quadruple launchers. That doesn't sound. Now here's the interesting one. Obviously, as we just mentioned when we were looking at the PC version of this ship, she had sonar, she had radar, and she had smoke generator over on PC. Over on PC, she also had repair party, and there's no mention of a repair party here. So potentially, Plymouth has no repair party at all. So that could be another downside for this ship, hence why she's been crammed down into tier 7. Furthermore, she's going to have... Let me just double check. I'll double check my Discord. She's going to have a similar smoke to the Edinburgh. Okay, so she's not going to have Belfast style smoke, where it's like little Belfast 43, I should say, where it's like the Destroyer style. She's going to have like standard smoke screens. She's going to be available in the store, monetization, from September the 19th. So she is going to be available for 17,500 doubloons. Ugh. Well, there's always the sorry, I'm just seeing a bit of the Falklands War being mentioned. There's always that iconic picture of the Argentine bombed in a British aircraft carrier, wasn't it? What was it? Was it Illustrious? Yeah, I think it was. Let's see. Which one? Someone must remember. Was it the was it Victorious? No, it was. Was it? Oh. No, I don't think it was Ark Royal. Was it Ark Royal? Ah, Kriv, I'm going to leave it in your capable hands because I remember us discussing it. But the Argentines like falsified the sinking of one of the British carriers in their newspapers, and they had like a very good doctored photo of it. I can't remember which one. Was it Hermes? Invincible. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, this is it. Let me just quickly do this. There you go. There you go. That was the Argentines newspaper. They ran with a story that they sunk the Invincible. So they had this photo in the in their newspaper, which is based off of. I can just grab. Which is based off of this photo. So basically, they doctored a falsified photo of the sinking of HMS Invincible during the Falklands War. So yeah, Argentines bombing those fake ships. Yeah, that just came to mind when someone said that. Anyway, we've gone off topic again. Soviet Tier 7 cruiser Kutsov is coming for Global XP, 750,000. I'm not going to cover anything on this one because she's been around for a while. Also, she's got the smoke generator, Soviet ballistics, very good HE capabilities. Yeah, so she's pretty standard. The CVs were Hermes and oh, they claimed to have sunk Hermes as well, did they? Balance changes. Okay, some interesting changes. Des Moines. So this is the thing you need to remember is that legendary tier ships aren't premium ships, so they can do whatever they want to them. The Des Moines is getting a nerf. She's having a main battery reload reduced, well, increased by 0.5 of a second. She's having a HE shell damage reduced. She's having her AP shell damage reduced. She's having her radar consumable reduced, which might set a precedence for future things. Battlefast 43 is getting a buff. She's getting her main battery reload speed decreased. She's having her fire chance increased, and she's having a smoke generator consumable duration, that's how long it will sit around for, increased from 15 to 20 seconds, which is going to be quite helpful. The Python bag ration, her main battery reload time has been decreased by a second, and her HP has been increased by 1,000. And she's also had radar added to her 4th slot, which is, I think, quite a big change for this ship. And it's a premium ship as well. Worth noting. So this is why, and that's a premium ship too. So this is the thing, like, they're happily buff premiums, but they don't like nerfing them, which is quite interesting. Now, it's also interesting that Belfast 43's only been around for a little while as well, and she's already got a buff. Whereas Pines of Bangladesh has been around for a good while. Pan-European destroyers are getting a general buff to main battery and HP, or just generally to improve their playability, I guess you could say, or make them more attractive. So the Romulus is getting a decreased main battery reload. Reload time for the upgraded main battery decreased. Main battery time reload for upgraded main battery decreased. I didn't notice that with the Romulus, that the reload time actually went up as you upgraded the poor thing. HE shower damage increased. Class Horn and the Visby both had their main battery reload decrease. Vestras has had the main battery reload decrease, and the torpedo launcher reload time decrease. Sakane's had its torpedo reload decrease, and the HP increased. I think that's quite an interesting change. Illustrious is there as well. Okay, yeah, we're talking about carriers, are we? Nah, fair enough. Hermes, Invincible, and Illustrious. Yeah, I don't think Argora made it. Yeah, because was Hermes a victorious class? I think. I'm not too hot on the Falklands War. I do apologise. So that's some of the things. They've also. It also resolved an issue with saturation that led to low HP ships surviving despite taking numerous hits from AP shells. This was made possible due to the introduction of minor penetration of AP shell bombs. When a strike or hit located with no HP remain, the target would take 10% of the shell's damage or bomb damage to their ship's HP. Minor penetration cannot occur from secondary battery hits. So interestingly, this would definitely have an impact on will to rebuild. Because I've seen where ships with will to rebuild activated have become fully saturated, continue to survive. So I guess this is quite interesting in that AP shells are going to continue to cause damage to the superstructure regardless. So that's I guess a bit of a saving grace. Additional penetration ribbon for the torpedo bulge penetration. This appears when the torpedo defense is penetrated but no other parts of the armor are affected. In this case, no damage is down. This ribbon also appears when a shell shatters anywhere inside a ship. Okay. Secondary batteries with armor protection will now lose their hit locations when destruction, first allowing the hits to the hulls. Therefore, they're not going to block incoming shells. Strongest pay to win argument. Having 3 16-4 commanders on the boat feels like cheating. Paid with money or with time. You've paid for a measurable advantage with the level boss in that lobby. Yeah. The commander system in this game is obviously heavily focused towards like focusing on certain things. I'm a Crib, long live Tiger 59, minor penetration introduction. To be honest, yeah, it's kind of, that's what it's for as well. I think this will be a massive help to like British light cruisers as well, because sometimes I found with British light cruisers at the higher tiers that after a certain point in the game, sometimes you just couldn't really do any damage. Okay, man, I wonder if that little mechanic will allow the dev team to introduce the whole saturation gimmick you see on PC French DDs. Maybe. Mobile, obviously, you can now link your console accounts on your mobile devices. Campaigns and line shares of features from console versions is now available on mobile devices in Canada and the Philippines. That's the mobile news. Bug fixes. Something to do with water reflection. Sounds of aircraft squadron consumables not to play upon activation or cooldown. HMS Lines had her armor thickness updated. Fixed a bug with the Xbox Series X to suffer pixelated artifacts. Mobile, obviously there's been some, and then we're on to Haiku. Yeah, so I think we're all wrapped up. So now, if any of you have actually managed to survive all the way through that, it's been a hefty patch. I mean, there's a lot there, but let's give it a major summary, I guess you could say. German battlecruisers. I'm intrigued, but they do seem to be fast, straight-line secondary boats. Poor anti-aircraft capability, poor manoeuvrability in regards to rudder shift and turning circle. Slightly more accurate main battery. They might be more my type of ship, actually, I guess, in comparison to the the existing battleships. Obviously, weak armor and stuff like that. But they do have torpedoes. They are pure brawlers. Torpedoes, sonar, secondaries, accurate guns. Yeah, they're very. If you like brawling, you're gonna want these. So I think they're an interesting addition to the game. I'm intrigued by them. Obviously, the mess up where they're early access and there's no crates available for free means that no one's going to be able to test any of them until the next patch, potentially, subject to whatever they do. I look forward to the next patch where I'll be able to play these. The Musashi, I'm not too interested. I think she's one of those ships where I think a lot of the player base are probably gonna like her or have wanted her, and I think this ship is for them. This ship is not for me. In all honesty, I'm not a fan of the Yamato, and I don't see myself being a fan of the Musashi. I just don't see it being a ship that I'm gonna want to play. In all honesty, so campaign-wise, I might sit it out. I might just do a bit, but I'm not going to be too fussed about it. Transformers is Transformers. Either you love it or you hate it, and honestly, I don't care for it, and I actively turn it off so I don't have to see it, is my opinion on that. Legendary tier carriers, I think they made a mistake without really thinking about the matchmaking by introducing these, and they've locked them behind maybe a paywall, but only for 1 month, but also they have locked it behind like you have to have played the game enough to actually activate it. So I like this part. This part I like, but I think they could have thought about it a bit more. I think what they should have done is, okay, yeah, introduce some carriers to the Bureau for the Legendary tier, but I think at the same time they should have done a campaign, and maybe they shouldn't have done I don't know, like, it's going to be awkward. The matchmaking when these start coming to the game is going to be awkward, and they really need to think about it a bit more. Yeah, so they're limited, they're kind of putting like an entry level into it, but I think they should have put a bit more thought into it, I feel. Only time will tell. Ranked, I'm going to want to see more details, but interestingly, they've reduced the number of players per side. You got to have to remember, like, ranked was 7v7 with divisions of 3 right in the very first season. We're now down to 4v4, which means that I think they're kind of realising that not a lot of players play ranked anymore. And so I think they're changing the number of people who play in order to keep matchmaking working, I guess. Legends going mobile. I don't really care for it because I'm not really that kind of player, but you know, some other people might be looking. Agincourt looks interesting. I do look forward to actually having her with like a secondary build. So yeah, Agincourt, I'm up for that. And this looks kind of interesting, the ability to actually pick up some what looks like worthwhile rewards potentially. In fact, I'd say almost doing the Agincourt will get you more worthwhile rewards than playing all 3 seasons of ranked. Ships coming in this patch. Wichita. Well, I've only got Wichita CE. Wichita is a good ship. It's very true. And obviously she's coming with some changes, which is fair because she needs some changes. But yeah, I think she's probably more worthwhile as a premium ship being sold at tier 7. However, 17,500 doubloons for this ship. It's a high cost. And so I think when you're looking at ships at this tier, you have to really ask yourself, how much am I going to play that ship? I think that's the big question. If I was looking at having to purchase this ship, Agincourt, I think even if she went up for doubloons, I probably would buy her. I mean, 5,000, 6,000 doubloons for Agincourt, yeah, no, I'm game. Plymouth, I think the proof is going to be in the pudding. She looks interesting, but there's got to be something they've done to this ship to make it into tier 7 when she should be a legendary tier ship. She's been down tiered by 2 tiers, and that worries me very much. And therefore, I don't know if I should get excited for this ship. It's hard to say. She's interesting, as in like a concept. Looks interesting, but until we see those stats, until we actually get to see some gameplay, I can't make a call on whether or not this is going to be a worthwhile ship or whether it's just going to be one to steer clear of. So I think that's going to be maybe watch this space a bit. Kutsov. Global XP ship, fair enough. She's a Path Campaign ship. There's probably plenty of videos out there. Balance changes. Des Moines getting nerfed. to be expected, honestly. Belfast 43 getting a buff. I'm surprised, because I really do like Belfast 43 as it is, so her getting a buff, you know, I'm not going to complain. In my eyes, it makes a strong cruiser even stronger. Bag ration I never really had much love for, but I think the big change here that I actually like is the radar. That was one thing that she kind of lacked. The Pan-European Tech Tree, I can't really speak too much for myself in regards to playing these, because it's not really my kind of play style. But for those of you who do play, maybe these buffs are welcome. To be honest, I think any buff is always a welcome buff sometimes. Mobile's mobile. Bug fixes. I think Lion getting her armor fixed is like, well, that's their own mistake. And that's pretty much everything. So, in general, I'd say I'm happy enough with this patch. But I think it still feels a little bit touch and go in places. How many people will be allowed to division up for ranked? It doesn't say, but I suspect they're probably going to still limit it to 2 people. But obviously it doesn't say, so it might be a bit of a wait and see, watch this space. Is there a collab that Major would be excited to see? Not really. I'm not really too fussed about collabs. I'll be honest. Obviously, I know it makes money for wargaming in some regards, and therefore it is a necessary evil in order for them to keep the bank checks coming. But also, on the other hand, I'm not really too fussed. I think what I would like to see is more history, I guess you could say. I'd like to see like more historical commanders. However, I know there's limitations behind how they can do that. I think one of the limitations is when it comes to introducing historical people, you have to have the permission of the relatives of that family if you can have access to that person's likeness. And I think that's the big issue with introducing more historical commanders to the game. So I think obviously I'd like to see more historical accurate commanders, but on the other hand I know why they don't have more coming, because obviously the hands are kind of tied when it comes to who they can kind of get. Mega Man, definitely looking forward to the Kutsov being available Glow XP. To paraphrase General Grievous, this will make a fine addition to my collection. Collab with real life events. We would like to see historical battles. That is a nice one, right? Admiral Kriv. I do like that idea. Rachang, I would cancel real life events to participate in that, Kriv. Macman Kutsov is very nice. Lucky it will not get added to the collection and the collection edition nerf. Imagine the new Jean Bar with worse reload than Richelieu. New mains 8-second reload. Cool, thanks guys. 3 would be awesome, my guess 2. I'm Crib 3, I think, due to the division system cannot be extended to 4, but on Discord they're already talking about 4v4 divisions. Oh, it'd be interesting to do that. They said they'll post details later, but they say divisions, but they didn't say division size yet. Just 1 DD per team and 4 ships per team, and terror rewards. They announced the. They announced, well, yeah, they have announced the terrible rewards. So what, if anything, tickles your fancy this patch? I think the thing that I'm probably most excited about is probably Agincourt. It's a very, very odd thing. I think it's because we have an idea what the ship's going to be like. I think because we know what Agincourt is going to be like, and she seems to be interesting, and she's at a tier that I sometimes do like to dabble in every now and then. So, yeah, I think Agincourt is going to be the thing I'm looking forward to. Right, that's everything. I might as well show my new mug for the HMS Hood, of course. On a side note, today's been my birthday, so that's why. The stream's a bit later, but also why I've been off work. So yeah, I've just been chilling most of the day. That's why the stream's a bit late. But yeah, that's all. Belfast 43 and Plymouth. Plymouth is I'm skeptical with Plymouth because they crammed her down. Oh well. Any questions, anything you want me to go over, let me know. Musashi, and in 3 months. Well, at least Naruko's got a long distance objective to look forward to. Yeah, much obliged, Raincho. Yeah. So my birthday is usually always very close to the bank holiday weekend at the end of August here in the UK. So yeah, I usually take it off work. Thanks, guys. Much obliged. Well, I don't think I've got anything else to really cover. Much obliged, Kriv. Much obliged, Narco. Hopefully, I should maybe get round to actually playing some Legends. I'm not too sure. So obviously this week we didn't do Wales Weekly because it kind of felt a bit pointless to do Wales Weekly covering what might be in the patch to then have the patch come out and then me to cover what's in the patch. So we skipped Wales Weekly and we're doing this one now. Many thanks, David Knight. Much obliged. But yeah, so in regards to the Friday night live stream, I'm not sure if it will be tomorrow night or whether I might do it Saturday night. The reason being is it all depends. Like today, I've just been relaxing. I spent some time with the missus. Been doing some modelling. I think I posted it into the Discord, didn't I? So yeah, there you go. That's some of the things that I've been doing today. Been working on a 156 Woolish Jeep. So yeah, just been dabbling. That's what I've been doing today. Okay, if you want to div up in the future, oh yes, no, please. Yeah, I've just not been playing the game as much as I would like to, just because of life and everything else. Many thanks, Andy Mac. Many thanks, Solid Sax. Many thanks, Jeff Deb. Yes. So yeah, today I've just been dabbling around with this. It's tiny, it really is, but I'm glad to have it finished. And then yeah, I think as some of you know, me and the missus have been going for IVF this month, and that's another reason why this month's been a bit quiet. But yeah, we're on the other side of that now, which is good news. So yeah, we should be returning. I should be returning to normal in regards to the channel in the coming weeks. So hopefully next patch should be back to a normal video schedule. Monday is obviously a bank holiday day here in the United Kingdom, so I will also be off work, and that is the day the patch drops. So I will be doing a live stream. Let's say Monday afternoon, because obviously once the patch is going to be launched at 1100 BST, then it's probably going to take, say, an hour to download it and install it, say. So that'll take us to about lunchtime. Yeah, so probably Monday afternoon. I'll do a first look post patch playing through. I'm much obliged. Sorry, thanks. Many thanks, bro. But yeah. So and then into next week we should be doing Wales Weekly. We should be doing the Friday live stream. I don't see any reason why I won't. So yeah, we should be into a normal life. Well, I think that's everything. Unless anyone's got any questions, but I'll sign off and say thank you to everyone who has come along. Let's see. I say thank you to Big Killer, to Admiral Crew, to Vance Vegas, to David Knight, to Jeff Dave, to the wife, to Mecha Man, to a name that was Eternal, to Kim Mike X Gaming, to Tazulkulu Adventures. Thank you to Salty Sax and Narco. Thank you to Zarkaz. Zarkaz actually, I missed your comments earlier, but I'll read them out now. I wonder if wargaming is going to hinder the secondary capabilities of these new German battle cruisers. On PC they are monster secondary ships, but Legends staff said that they don't want people to rely on them on World Warships Legends. Hence why secondary dispersion is pretty harsh on most secondary ships on Legends. And I think the secondary range is for World Warships Legends is going to be quite good, and the dispersion is going to be the same as Oklahoma and Nevada, they said, which I'm not really familiar with. So I think for World Warships Legends there'll be enhanced secondaries for sure, but they're not going to be anywhere near the PC version of the game. Thank you to Paolo, Action Pumper, and David Knight, I think. Thank you to the questioner, and just that dope. Oh, wonder what will happen when the loot box system becomes legal in the EU and North America after that next election. That would be interesting. So thank you to Andy Mack as well. So each purchase funds the Russian war in Ukraine. Oh god, I missed some of these. I do apologise. I'm reading through now actually. I think I've caught up. Yeah. Patch stream, calendar marks, no worries. Hopefully I'll get like a reasonable notice up. I went on Plymouth when I was a kid. Birkenhead had the biggest World War II collection of ships in Europe, but sadly all were sold and scrapped. Oh wow. Good night, coming back here. I'm Crib. I'm not affected by bank holidays in Scotland. Work as always, so it's too early afternoon. I cannot attend. No worries, no worries. Swiss not getting the bank holidays. We are the. Alright, ladies and gents. Well, much obliged. I hope you didn't mind the jazz mess up earlier on, but we managed to resolve that. It'll be fine. People will skip through it, I'm sure. I mean, if you look down and you see that it's a 2-hour stream, you'd hope that the person didn't leave jazz on max volume the entire time. So, fingers crossed. Oh well, stay safe, stay well, look after yourselves, and I'll catch you either tomorrow or the day after for a game live stream where we do the last stream, I guess you say, or playing the game before the patch, which should be quite interesting. Well, until next time, I'm the Gaffer Major. Make sure I click on the right one. And back to port. Cheerio.